Good morning. Welcome to a new edition of Breakfast Info Bites. Today, we have the pleasure of having Clement Wilcox, who is the Research Engagement Director for the University of Minnesota's 10,000 Family Studies. In her role, she leads the community outreach, recruitment, and engagement across Minnesota, right? And she serves as a bridge between the different Minnesota communities, and she also oversees all aspects of external communication for the project. This research, the 10,000 Families Study, is an initiative that is designed to understand the diverse influences of genetics, lifestyle, and environment on family health. It was launched in 2017, and it focuses on the unique health needs of the region, particularly with Minnesota's large rural population, which include, American Indian communities and our growing migrant communities as well. Anyway, I would like to welcome you and say good morning to Clement Wilcox, who will explain to us more about this project. And at the end of her presentation, we will have time for questions. Please post your questions in the Q&A, and I will, go through them. We will try to answer them in order that we've received. Good. Anyway, welcome, Clement.
Thank you, Guillermo. Buenos días. Good morning to everyone. I am very thankful that you have gotten up this morning to hear about this. If you hear this charming accent, is because I am Colombian and English is my second language. Let's begin with the presentation. I hope everyone is seeing the presentation. So we are the 10,000 Families Study. This is a study of the University of Minnesota, and it's a research study to understand the environmental causes of cancer, or at least this is the current part. As Guillermo was saying, we study genetics, the environment, and lifestyle and their connection with chronic diseases. Currently, we have this grant and we are studying causes of cancer. Who is included in this? Everyone is included. We include urban, suburban, rural, white, BIPOC, any income. And for BIPOC, for those who are not familiar with that, I am assuming some of you are. These are people of color in any age, any income, any age. Families can include non-blood relatives. This is very important because sometimes people say, oh, I only have my partner or my spouse, and that's okay if there is not, if there are not blood relatives as part of the family, they can include them. Adoptive parents, adoptive children, step parents, every member of the family. The only request is that the very first person, as you can see here, needs to live in Minnesota. That very first person can be really close, for example, in Moorhead, and the family members might be in Fargo, or they can be here in the Twin Cities, and the family members in Wisconsin, Stillwater, anywhere close. But the very first person needs to be in Minnesota. This is a study that is part of a national cohort. So the cohorts for environmental exposures and cancer risk. And as you can see, do you remember I showed you Minnesota and the neighboring states can be part of our study? As a whole, there are other 3 studies in the nation that are researching on cancer. Every one of these studies research on a different type of cancer. And each one of them is located in a different place, so includes different states. But we have here in the 10,000 families the support not only of the National Cancer Institute to be part of this group, but also we are supported by the Masonic Cancer Center, the medical school, and the School of Public Health. What do we refer to environmental exposures, or what environmental exposures we are concentrating on? We are talking about radon. For those who are not familiar with radon, this is a gas that comes into your home or your place of work, any enclosed place. You cannot smell it, you cannot see it. Even when it's affecting you, you don't have symptoms until it's really late. So that's a very, very dangerous risk, and it's very prominent in the Midwest, in Minnesota, in Iowa, in all the states around that. PFAS, some of you might have heard about PFAS. PFAS are also named forever chemicals, and they are named forever because when they come into living things, either animals, plants, or ourselves, they stay there. They are not flushed. So we are investigating what these chemicals are doing inside our bodies. And glyphosate is a pesticide that's the active ingredient of Roundup and other products that are herbicides. And this is very, very common, and not only in urban areas, in gardening and that, but especially in rural areas where there are large plantations, I think is the word, sorry, where there are farming and all that, they are very, very commonly used. What is the outcome that we are currently looking for? Leukemia and lymphoma. These are blood cancers. And you may ask, why those cancers? Because that's the cancer, those are the cancers that are growing faster in the state, meaning we have a lot of cancer in the state. As you may know, between Iowa and Minnesota, we have the counties with more cancer in the nation. So in the United States, the lead cause of death is heart conditions. In Minnesota, more people die of cancer than heart conditions. So it is very important that we find out why. And right now we are looking at those two who are the winners, if you want to say it, and currently growing faster than any other cancer. As you can see in the map that I have on the left, there are areas that have more incidence of cancers than others. But being in yellow doesn't mean that you are okay. It's just that it's a little lower than other areas. But you can see the red ones that are really scary. How to participate in this study? It is not difficult. It would take between 2.5 and 3 hours total time to do it, but it has a few steps. And the first step is just finding out if the person is eligible and how does this person lives in Minnesota. That's the most important thing because they need an address. That very first person needs an address in Minnesota. Is this person 18 years or older? Why? Not because everyone in the study has to be 18 years or older, but because that first person needs to consent to participate in the study. And to consent, you have to be, you cannot be underage. And so that very first person takes a survey, very short survey, 2.5 minutes maybe, where we ask some demographic questions. Where do you live? Because we want to make sure we are going to all places in Minnesota and other demographic questions. And we ask for contact information. This contact information includes the name of the person, the address, phone number, email. Email is very important because this is the way how we communicate with participants. Sorry. The second step is including your family members. That means that, oh, I guess I moved my hand and some balloons came. The second step is including your family members. If you are an adult, you can include your children. If it's other adults, you need to invite these other adults to participate, meaning we will send you an email, you will pass it to those family members, and they will decide to participate in the study. The third step, which is the lengthy one, is to answer a questionnaire online. The person can begin the questionnaire, go and get the cafecito, stop and come back. We give the option to come back and finish the questionnaire. It's about 40 minutes, but the reason this is a little lengthy is because we need to know where this person has lived before, how is their current health, all these things that will help us understand what is impacting the family health. The fourth one is a health visit, and this health visit, especially now, we are doing mobile health visits. We usually do health visits at the university for people living in the Twin Cities and mobile visits for people living outside the Twin Cities. But currently, some people don't want to leave home, so we are doing this at home for the Twin Cities too. And what it is a phlebotomist will come to your home and pick up some blood samples, urine samples. We send you in advance the information. People don't have to do it at home. They can choose another place that is safe for them if they don't want to receive this at home or do it at home. We work with people to see what's more comfortable for them. And 5.1 is tests that we do at home. We send a free kit for radon to the person. This is in winter months because to do a test for radon, your home has to be enclosed, cannot be open because the gas will go out, and we need to know the exposure. And here is very important to know that radon is already proved as the second cause of lung cancer for smokers, but the first cause for non-smokers of lung cancer. Now we are trying to connect it with leukemia and lymphoma. And the wristband, which are those yellow things that you see in your screen, these people wear them for a full week. They are pre-cleaned in a lab. And this is silicone, so it has pores, and it will collect all your environmental exposures for a week. You send it back to us, and that's what we are going to use to know what you are exposed to in your daily life. And every 2 years, we ask you just to give us follow-up, just to know more new kids in your family. Did you move? What is new? The next thing is, what's the benefits? What's in it for me? That's what everyone asks. What is in it for us? Okay, there are a few things. One is the most important one, in my opinion, to have healthier future generations, our children and the children of our children. So we live with some benefits of past studies. So in this one, we want to benefit our future generations. We also give you health education, inform you about what is happening in the state and the health, how things are moving. Communities can request this. The picture on your right was 3 weeks ago in Moorhead. We did some training about radon and how it impacts your health. And we have also trainings that you can watch in YouTube. What is radon? What is PFAS? We have it in English and Spanish with experts, but communities can request it. And the last one, I left the last one, are online gift cards we give to participants. And I always stress this out. We don't want people to participate only for the gift card. The gift card is a way to thank them for the time used, but we don't want people just to go and feel like we are tricking them to participate. No, we want them to participate and then get this as a benefit. They get a gift card for the questionnaire, a gift card for the health visit, and the household gets one for radon. Each person gets one for the wristband, and every time they have to do an activity for us, they get a small gift card. As Guillermo was saying, this study, as a general study, began in 2017 as an idea, as a pilot. Then in 2019, received a grant from the Masonic Cancer Center, which created the infrastructure for the study. In 2021 is when we got into that national study that I showed you, the National Cancer Institute grant awarded these studies with money to work on environmental causes of cancer. And this, in 2025, we got a small grant from the Masonic Cancer Center because we had been talking with the community. We have a very strong community advisory board, and we were talking with them, and they were saying, okay, you are telling me that I have got radon in my house, that my exposure is high, but so what? Because I don't have the money to mitigate, and there is no legislation, there are no grants to pay for it. The mitigation can be expensive, can be $1,500, $2,000, and I don't know who has that money behind the door ready to pay for radon mitigation. So we requested a grant since we cannot pay for it as a study, and I mean, there is not enough money to pay for it. We requested a grant to study what would happen if we could help people with a voucher to pay for mitigation. And that's the current grant we have in Moorhead, in the area of Moorhead. We are studying this, and we hope that this will give us information to provide to the community so the community can request change in legislation at a local level and also national level. These are the people that our team, the work for this. We have 3 principal investigators. The principal investigator is Dr. Jen Pointer, but we have 2 other co-investigators. You see me here in the middle. We have the director of health visits, and our dear extension liaison, Kelly Kunkel, who is here today. I'm very happy to see you. And other people that this is a big infrastructure of people working for this. Some people work as part of their job. In my case, it's my job. For others, it's almost advisory and voluntary job. We have some community partners. ACER, some of you might be familiar with them. They work with the Hispanic community, the Department of Health, and of course, our community advisory board. Where you can find us, which is very important for me, is here in our website. You can find us. You can find us in Facebook, Instagram, other social media, but also at the county fair. Here we were at Bemidji County Fair, or other cultural events. Here is Community Connections in the Twin Cities. So that's all what I have for you today. This is my email. Feel free to connect with me at any time, ask questions, request education for your community. And here is how you can go to our website.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section. We already have a couple, and I also have a couple of extra questions too. But first of all, thank you very much for your presentation. What is the leading hypothesis that explains the unusual high rates of cancer in parts of Minnesota? And is it something about our physical environment? I mean, cold weather, meaning enclosed homes, limited sun exposure in winter, or is it driven by socioeconomic factors, etc.?
Well, that is what we are studying right now. We are discovering there are high levels of exposure of radon. We know the PFAS is very prevalent here in the Midwest and especially in Minnesota since those chemicals originated here and they are in our water and our every we live in a climate that is very cold and some of the clothing we use, like the waterproof clothing, have PFAS. Our dental floss have it, so we have to be careful with what we use. The water bottles. We are exposed to this radon at home, and also the farming that bring the pesticides. So we believe, this is our belief, that these three environmental exposures are the ones driving these new cancers. But someone else need to study to see if that is also driving other cancers. But we wanted to include not only the environmental exposures, but also what we do, our lifestyle, and our genetics, because the populations here are very, very different than other states. We have a very clear divide between urban and rural populations. We have like about 35% of rural population versus 65 urban. But we have communities such as Latino, urban Native American, Hmong, Somali, Karen, all these populations that are very strong communities, very wonderful communities, but also with different genetics, different lifestyles, and all that. So we have to study all that to find out what is impacting our state the most.
I think another question I have is now that the study has been, well, in different phases since 2017, but the core of the work in Minnesota, if I recall from your slide, started in 2021. Have there been any initial results published that are accessible to both to the general public and also to researchers in public health and related areas that are a product of this study, or is it still too early to have that be available publicly?
Well, we have nationally the forest studies have some publications that are more general. It is very early for us because we are in about 4,600 participants, and we need at least 8,000 to begin to have more results. We are going to produce a paper, as I understand, about radon, what we have learned from radon, but it's very early. And the forest steps are very easy and don't take a lot of time, but people take a lot of time doing them. So sometimes they are like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm busy with this. And I mean, life happens. And so the faster we help people move along in the process, the faster we are going to have results.
Right. One more question is, I see that we have a colleague from Extension who's participating in this study. What, for the broader Extension community, what can we do to help promote, and help with greater participation in this study, or what is being done to do this?
Well, Kelly, who is here, I stopped her at the beginning, is our liaison because Extension is one of our community partners. So Extension is written in the grant with the National Cancer Institute, and that's one of our strongest arms connecting with the community. How can people help us? Bringing aware to your communities, inviting us to present. We have all kinds of information written in video, all ways to share information. We have a very strong advisory board that you can also connect with that includes communities from the Native American to urban to rural health to any, you name it, African American. And they have been very strong with us. A lot of people think that they are like, oh, hello. No, they are like, okay, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with my community? How are you helping? And those are people that can help us bring the word to our communities. And I really hope the informations or events like today can bring some clarity about what we are doing and help us pass this on and help us understand what is happening in our communities.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to remind people that this webinar is being recorded, and we will post a recording in the next few days on our webpage. I put something in the chat that you can see, but if you come to the InfoBytes, Breakfast InfoBytes webpage, you will see a link to the recording and additional resources that accompany this presentation. I also put, I know that Clement, you did this earlier, but I put a link to the study's webpage, as well as Clement's contact information. Again, thank you all for joining us today, and we will see you again on March 18th. We'll have another interesting presentation for you. Please have a. Oh, I wanted to end this. Clement and I later in the next few days will do a Spanish version of this talk to help promote this study in Spanish. You will also find that on the webpage.